So much, my brother, Pastor Peter. How I long that you invite me again another day to come and talk.
Amen.
Because even if you gave me 1 hour, the story that I would want to share with people would be much longer. Because it is a journey that I know has inspired many, many people whenever I tell my story. And also because of the kind of work I am doing. And then some people say, you cannot do that kind of work and still be a Christian. And all sorts of things. But anyway, briefly, I've been married for over 50 years. And we are still going strong. Amen. If you asked me to marry my wife again, I would do it. I would do it, yeah. I would walk the aisle with the same woman and still say, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So in terms of profession, I am what we call a certified public accountant. And as a certified public accountant, it means I have gone through a certified public accountant examinations and finished them, and then got awarded so that I become a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. I'm also a member of the Institute of Internal Auditors. I'm also a member of the Kenya Institute of Management. I am also a member of the International Forensic Accountants Institute in terms of qualifications, in terms of memberships. Those other ones, I did not do any exam, but because of what I had done before, I got accepted as a member in those other ones. I ran a farm. The farm is called Erastus and Company, Certified Public Accountants. In that farm, we do audits for people, companies, NGOs. We also do tax consultancy. We also do management consultancy. We do fraud investigations. We do also what we call organizational reviews. We are just doing one major one at the moment. Then we also do what is called support services. Under support services, people come to us from other countries that, for example, those who have got employees in Kenya, but they don't want to run the payroll themselves. They want an expert to do it for them. So we offer what is called payroll services from various parts of the world, Mauritius, South Africa, UK, USA, and so on. So some of them, they give us their money every month. And when I say money, I mean a lot of money. A lot, not change. Yeah, we do over 100 to 200 million shillings every month. So we get the money, then we pay the people that are their employees. We take the money for KRA, we take to KRA, NSSF, we take to NSSF and other places. And then we do that work and they pay us for it. They pay us for doing that kind of work. So when it comes to tax work, if an organization has been assessed by Kenya Revenue Authority, then they call us to come and support them. And then we work on those figures and tell KRA you are wrong, tell KRA here you are not right, here you are right, here you are right, and then we work out what should have been the correct tax. By the grace of God, I came into all these things after having been born again. And I want to assure you, just like my brother has told us, Pastor Ubongo Wycliffe, I was an average student myself, perhaps below average. I even failed maths, by the way. I even failed maths. So, when I got saved, and then I began going for classes, then suddenly something was telling me, my goodness, this maths thing is not difficult. God opened my mind. And I've given this testimony before, that as much as I was poor, as much as I was poor in mathematics, I need to emphasize that, and as much as I also failed the papers, there were 3 instances where it was only God who took over. And I was praying, and I was saying, Lord, this is a difficult area. I didn't pass mathematics and so on and so on. I was only very good in English, by the way, extremely good. That one I know, because I used to lead in that regard. Now, one day, I'd been in prayer, and coming from my house where I was staying in Isili, and I was going to town to do an exam, and I was reading as I was in the bus, Kenya bus. I said, oh, this looks very interesting. What I read in the bus, near Markiti, by the way, just near that Markiti, I've never forgotten where I was when I was reading that. Towards Kahawa House, where Jesus is Alive Ministries is, that's where, around there, that's where I finished reading that particular part. It came in the exam the way it was. And I said, this must be God. Statistics, which, as you probably know, you'd have a bit of theory, but a lot of it will be number work and very complicated formulas. God, in his own special way, after I had failed the paper, when I went to take it again, it's a paper for 3 hours. I finished in 1.5 hours, and I told myself I must have done something wrong, because some people had walked out of the exam room panting, literally panting. And when somebody, if you're in the exam room, you see somebody walk out like that, you know that wameshindwa. Na wanaenda kabisa, si ati wanarudi. So when I finished it in 1.5 hours, I said, something must be wrong, because everybody was still busy writing. So I went back and checked, and I said, you must do 5 questions. Have I done 5? Checked, and once I had finished, I said to myself, I am not getting out of the exam room until they say pens down. Of course, I passed. The other one was called Management Mathematics, also a fairly difficult paper because those of us who came from weak backgrounds, you struggle. That one again, by the grace of God, after I had failed it the first time, when I went back, I finished the paper within 2 hours instead of 3 hours. It could only be God. And remember our days, we never used to use calculators, No calculators. The most you are allowed to use was a logbook. But logbook, you must know how to use logs. If you don't know how to use logs, finished. You have to know it offhand. Those are graces of God that I have seen.